What year is it? 2026, right? Easy. Now go back. What about 2000? 1900? Year 500? Keep going. What year was it when it was year 1? If you walked up to a guy in a toga in the middle of the Roman Forum 2,000 years ago and asked, "Hey, is it year 1? He would think you were completely crazy. He'd tell you it was the year of Caesar's consulship, or the year 754 since Rome was built. Nobody living in year 1 had any idea it was year 1? So who invented it? A monk named Dionysius in the year 525. He sat down with a piece of paper, tried to count backward to when Jesus was born, and called that year 1. And guess what? He actually messed up the math by at least 4 years. But the calendar stuck anyway, starting a wild 2,000-year domino effect that brings us straight to right now. Picture year 1. Rome rules everything around the Mediterranean, and the Han Dynasty rules China. Between them lies thousands of miles of trade routes, the Silk Road, where silk, spices, and ideas trickled across deserts. Life is moving slow, very slow. But then, boom! Internal rot, civil wars, and invading tribes break the Western Roman Empire apart, and in 476, Rome collapses. People often call the time that followed the Dark Ages, but that's a massive misconception. While Western Europe was fractured, fighting over dirt and burning old books, the Islamic Golden Age blew wide open across the Middle East and North Africa. Scholars in Baghdad built the House of Wisdom, translating ancient Greek philosophy, inventing algebra, advancing medicine, and preserving global history in giant, breathtaking libraries. Meanwhile, back in England, a monk named Bede starts writing down history using Dionysius's year 1 calendar system. And suddenly, monarchs and churches across Europe start adopting it. Fast forward to the year 1000, people across Europe are freaking out. Predictions of apocalyptic doom spread like wildfire. They think the world is literally going to end. It doesn't. Instead, life gets even wilder. In the 1200s, a nomadic leader named Temujin unites the steppe tribes, takes the name Genghis Khan, and rides out of Central Asia. The Mongols build the largest contiguous land empire the world has ever seen, connecting east and west so thoroughly that you could trade goods from Beijing to Baghdad under one authority. But that trade network had a lethal side effect. In the 1300s, the Black Death hit. Carried along those exact trade routes, a terrifying plague swept across continents, wiping out a third of everyone in Europe and millions more across Asia. Entire towns vanished into thin air. It was total apocalyptic chaos. Oddly enough, the labor shortage gave peasants power. Wages rose and society rebuilt itself from the ground up. Then came the spark, the printing press. In the 1440s, a blacksmith named Johannes Gutenberg builds a machine with movable metal type that pumps out books in minutes instead of years. Ideas explode everywhere. Science, art, philosophy. The Renaissance takes off. Driven by a hunger for new trade routes, empires build massive wooden ships. Explorers sail across scary, uncharted oceans, linking America, Africa, Europe, and Asia together for the exact first time in human history. It brought unprecedented global trade and dark centuries of conquest and colonization. By 1648, after the horrific 30 Years' War flattened Central Europe, exhausted kings finally agree on something huge, drawing permanent borders on a map to create the concept of official, sovereign countries. Then humans discover steam power. In the late 1700s, we stop relying purely on muscle, wind, and horses and start slamming coal into iron engines. Factory smoke fills the sky, global production surges, and trains race across continents at speeds that terrified people at the time. The world moves faster, faster, and faster. By the late 1800s, with international trade and train lines exploding, every nation agrees to standardize their clocks and use the exact same Gregorian calendar, the descendant of that monk system, just so train schedules don't crash into each other. And then the 1900s hit. In just 100 short years, humanity accelerates at a terrifying pace. We build cars, conquer the skies with airplanes, and then hurls ourselves into two devastating world wars: tanks, poison gas, industrialized warfare, atomic bombs. In 1945, looking at the radioactive ruins of World War II and terrified of total planetary destruction, world leaders gathered to build the United Nations to stop us from wiping ourselves out. And we didn't stop there. Just 66 years after the Wright brothers took their first 12-second flight in the sand, we rocketed humans to the moon. We built giant, room-sized vacuum tube computers, shrank them down onto silicon chips, and put glowing glass slabs into our pockets. In 1991, the Soviet Union falls apart, the Cold War ends, the World Wide Web goes public, and suddenly you can send a message to someone on the exact opposite side of the planet in less than a second. Plagues, fallen empires, wooden ships, steam trains, nuclear weapons, space travel, global networks, and now artificial intelligence taking over the planet in 2026. So, what year is it next?